G'day everyone and welcome to Phillip Island, a wet and windy Phillip Island overnight. The sun's out at the moment, but that may change as the day goes on. Been a great introduction year in the Porsche Carrera Cup for Dylan O'Keefe. Of course, he drives the APB Group car. Dylan, how's the first year been, buddy?
Yeah, it's been pretty full on actually, but it's been quite good. Had a great start to the year. Currently fourth in the championship and just chipping away at it, getting some good results and focusing on finishing the races and getting some good results.
Dylan, you're an 18-year-old kid. You drove around in 944s at state level. You've been into the GT3 Cup Challenge. You're now driving Carrera Cup. You've seen what Matt Campbell's been able to achieve by going through that Porsche pyramid. Is that the same sort of thing you're hoping for?
Yeah, that's what I'm aiming towards. So I've been through all the Porsche categories and now I'm in the elite level Porsche category in Australia. So hopefully I can follow in Matt Campbell's footsteps and maybe get into doing the Porsche scholarship, and that's definitely a goal of mine.
Thank you very much, Tony Shebeki. Richard Kral's jumped right alongside me here in the comm booth as we see the Porsche Carrera Cup for 2017 field driving out.
Really slippery conditions. I think everyone's seen the sun this morning and gone, we'll put some slick Pirelli tyres on as we get ready for race 2. This is a very greasy racetrack, a lot of rain overnight, so these are going to be very, very difficult conditions for this race. Yesterday it was McBride and Thomas leading home, Wallen, Smollen, Dylan O'Keefe and Adam Gowans, Sam Sheehan and Daniel Gaunt, Stephen Grove and Tim Slade. A couple of pros will start this race because they finished yesterday. One of them is Tim Slade in car number 4. The other one will be Daniel Gaunt. Remember yesterday he stormed his way through the field in the HTFU Sam Sheehan Buick Motorworks car to be P4. So he'll be racing against the AM drivers, and I think peeling back off into pit lane was Adam Gowans. I think they're regretting that decision to put slicks on, so they're going to put wets and start from pit lane. The grid fields up for 1 hour's worth of racing. There's a pit window that opens 25 minutes into the race for a driver change and a tyre change if you want. So Gaunt in pit lane in the Sam Sheehan car, missing from the second row of the grid, ready for Porsche Carrera Cup Australia. The Pro-AM, the annual Classic 2 driver race. It's a big part of the championship. Dylan Thomas pops the clutch and stalls. He cops a nudge through. Hopefully everyone avoids him because they're all going really quickly. But the race 1 winner's stuck and going nowhere. And it's Shane Smollen, the Tag Heuer Carrera Challenge champion, who goes down. Tim Slade cops a hit from Adam Gowans, but hangs onto it at turn 1. It's really busy. Nick Foster, he started this race 11th. He's running P4. Somehow he's rocketed up the field.
It was Cameron McConville in this Garmin Motorsport car that just missed.
Broken steering on Adam Gowans. Broken right front corner in that car. He's going nowhere. That'll be his race. And down the inside now goes Tim Slade. So the Supercars driver, who'll be good in these conditions, all that experience goes to the race lead.
As I mentioned, Cam McConville just missed the standing still Dylan Thomas off the front row there with McBride, and there's smoke pouring out of the side of that car now where the steering's broken up.
Yeah, he's done. Adam Gowans, young Tasmanian, who did a really nice job yesterday. I feel for Dylan O'Keefe. And down the inside goes Nick Foster. So the pros in these conditions are going to the front very, very quickly. With Dean Fiore making moves in car 9. This is really busy. Aaron Island in car 777. He shares with Andre Heidgartner. This is 7th through about 14th place. They're all trying to negotiate their way through. And at the back of it was Daniel Gaunt in car 13, who started from pit lane.
Tim Slade, strong start there. Really getting away very, very nicely indeed.
It's teaming down now as well, so anyone who's decided on the wet tyre kicks a goal in this. And for the APB Group car, for Adam Gowans, it doesn't matter. Down the inside goes Daniel Gaunt on car 888, Jeff Emery behind the wheel. Really difficult conditions. Let's see if anyone pits. Not sure who's on slicks or not. I got a feeling the whole field started on wet tyres, but in these mixed conditions you can take the gamble.
At the moment, whatever you got on you is not going to offer anything. The slick tyre is not going to offer anything. It's not wet enough to pump the road dry.
I reckon it's good for wets now, Darren. Absolutely teaming down at the moment, and spray from these cars as well. So at the end of a pretty crazy opening lap, it's Tim Slade by Nick Foster. So Nick Foster started 11th. He was 4th by turn 1. and he's second now. Dean Fiore is third. Daniel Gaunt is fourth, and it's Shane Smollen, Rob Woods, Jeff Emery, John Goodacre, Tim Miles, Cam McConville rounding out the top 10. So he's the next of the pro drivers. And into pit lane comes Dylan Thomas. In the car that won the race yesterday, stalled off the start. He is now in the lane, and I wonder if they started, Darren, on slick tyres.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. They just didn't get off the line, did he? He was in all sorts of stripe. The number 77 is up in the air now, putting it on Go Jackson. It's definitely coming into the shed.
It's going in the garage, so Shebex will be in the pit lane. We'll find out what's going on with that. That's a big blow for the race winner yesterday. So 2 of the cars on the podium in yesterday's race in the garage, probably out for the rest of the day. 0 point score. This is an enormous championship weekend. We spoke with Nick McBride and Dylan Thomas yesterday about the pressures involved in handing your car over. There's 2 one-hour races, so you're handing your car over for an hour of running to a driver that will have a big bearing on your championship.
Rod Woods into Vishan Padiachi in the 21 there, the Platinum Nightclub car. Doing well, already found their way up into P4, running strongly.
Started this race 12th place. I wonder if it's Devarshan Padiachi who started that car, a guy with a lot of experience in that race car. Our timing showing Rob Woods, but Rob's only done a handful of Carrera Cup races. If he's going this well in the rain, he's doing a very, very nice job. Big slide, big tank slapper. Dean Fiore lost it, he's gone. And he's still spinning, all the way into the fence in the outside of turn 12. I wonder if the broken 7 car might have been when it copped a clip when it stalled at the line from car 88. So 7 and 88, I think that's just communal damage there. So Fiore's kept this car out of the fence. It's very confusing. There's cars diving into pit lane. Jeff Emery's in there. John Goodacre's in there. You cannot complete your compulsory pit stop. And yep, they're putting wets on.
Diving for Michelin wets down there, these guys. So
I can't believe they started on slicks, to be honest.
Strong contenders too. Emery, Goodacre, Gilbertson, all into the pits.
What it's going to do, those that started on wets, or if you can preserve somehow on slicks, if this rain shower passes, they'll get a free pit stop when they get to the pit stop window, because they're making an additional stop now under green conditions and outside the window. So it doesn't count as your compulsory pit stop.
Then Fiore's back on after that big spin at the top of the straight there. A little bit of a biff and barge here. The McConville number 5 and the number 3 there.
It's been lasting for about 4 hours.
Didn't it?
Car 13 shown in front because a bunch of cars have peeled off into pit lane. So the HTFU Porsche has dived off. Woods shown as second. So car 13 in front of car 21. It's Tim Slade shown as third. So Slade was leading the race. He must have had an off somewhere. There's timing showing him in third place.
Slade in the lane now.
He's got a 23-second margin, Daniel Gaunt. It's definitely Gaunt behind the wheel because he finished the race yesterday. So the drivers that finished yesterday, just to reiterate, have to start this race. It's in the rules. So the driver that started yesterday, by virtue of that, will end up finishing today's race. Now, Tim Slade is in the lane, so that's why he's dropped a few spots.
Daniel Gaunt driving very well indeed here. He's hooked up on rails. That's a very high load corner coming around Hayshed and then into Lukey Heights, having absolutely no difficulty at all in the number 13.
So I think it's reasonably safe to assume, Darren, that they've rolled the dice and went for the wet weather Michelin tyre option, and I think that's worked. And car 4 sitting in pit lane now, not a lot of activity going on. There goes the Slade dog with new wets. You can see the sticker on the left rear corner of that car. So a sticker set of brand new Michelin wet weather tyres. It's a new construction tyre. It's never been run in Australia before. It's got a lighter groove across it, so it doesn't displace as much water, but it's much more consistent over a duration, Michelin tell me. So it'll be really good for these conditions where there's no standing water on the racetrack. It'll pump the water out really efficiently and it'll last a lot longer when the circuit starts to dry up as well. Check this out. So this is car 9, Dean Fiore, showing behind the wheel of this. Big slide, catch, goes the other way, still spinning. Now he goes the other way, so he's gone through 360 degrees at one point or another in this accident, and it's still spinning at this point. He gathers it up and drives it off. So it's a fairly loose little moment there for experienced West Australian.
It was an understeer, oversteer, then loop the loop around there.
All kinds of steers.
Absolute passenger of that one. The skies are bright at one end of the track, and we're seeing that with the sunshine there, but out over Bass Strait it is grey and dark, and that's where the weather's coming from today.
This is going to be a really, really difficult race to read, just with the way this is all played out. So the car we're watching is 33. It's 13th place. John Goodacre, the vastly experienced South Australian GT3 Cup Challenge runner behind the wheel. So it's car 13, Sam Shaheen and Daniel Gaunt leading. Rob Woods and Devarshan Padiachi in second place. Dean Grant and Lee Holdsworth shown in third. Then Nick Foster and Graham Williams shown in fourth place with Tim Miles in P5 alongside Jackson Evans, who will finish this race. So Miles is doing a really good job. Which Sonic car is this? It's missing at least one, if not two, of the 7s on its windscreen. I got a feeling it's Aaron Island. It is. He was running 7th, but he's pitting, and they've decided it's just too wet. If we can get in closer and have a look at those tyres. Daz, because we've had all these green flag pit stops, at the moment there's only 4 cars on the lead lap, which is Shaheen, Woods, Grant and Foster, 13, 21, 8 and 131. So they've all barrelled into pit lane. They've all done a tyre change to get wet weather tyres, and it's left 4 people out in front on their merry own. So this could be absolutely a 4-horse race the way this plays out. But then if you're a lap in front, you roll the dice and roll.
You take a leisurely stop, don't
absolutely.
you? Absolutely. Nick Foster's the one that's the leading the ones on the 5th lap, if you like, in this race.
No, I think Nick's about 1 minute and 30 seconds behind the 13 car that leads the race. So this...
Still on the lead lap.
Yeah, this is McConville v Smollen. The Repair Management Australia car goes to the outside of the Wilson Security Wall Racing Porsche. So David Wall is a point off the lead in the championship. They finish the way they are with car 77 in pit lane and 777 behind. He will take the lead in the championship, not by much, but just a little bit for David Wall, who, believe it or not, is yet to win a Porsche Carrera Cup Australia round. He's been second 5 times the round podium and yet to win a round, David Wall. Car in the wall, 2 cars damaged, but 1 car heavily in the fence on driver's left coming out of turn 12. Don't worry about Jackson Evans' car. There's a car parked down there. I wonder if it's the Horsley Park gun shop car of Anthony Gilbertson. Yep, it sure is. He has had a horrific day, Anthony Gilbertson. In James Abella's Porsche, he had a couple of dramas in the GT3 Cup races early on. We go safety car. So it was really shallow. So it actually wasn't an enormous hit, but it was Tim Miles who had the slide. And Milesy's whacked Gilbertson and driven him into the wall. So they weren't going that quickly. That could have been a much, much bigger crash. In pit lane is Andrew Rolls, and he's found Nick McBride.
Nick McBride, all sorts of problems with the 77 car. What happened from the start?
Unfortunately, it just looks like Dylan stalled it off the line there, and he's being collected by the O'Keefe Gowans car. So looks just one of those things. It was quite wet. He was on slick, so I'm sure he's just tried to take it off like a bit of a road car, and unfortunately stalled it. But you know, that's the way motorsport goes.
The car spent a lot of time in the garage here. What was the problem and what needed to be fixed?
It pretty much bent the whole rear left corner when the Gowans car hit. So you know, from shock to most of the arms. The boys have done a great job just to get it back out there, to be honest.
Well, at least you got it back out there. Good luck.
Cheers, thanks.
We'll be back in just a couple of moments for the 100th running of the Shannons Australian Motor Racing Nationals.
So here we go. We're back to green this time by 23 laps remaining, 22 when they get to the control line. Compulsory pit stop window is open. Daniel Gaunt, Rob Woods and Dean Grant are a lap in front of the field. So away we go. It's going to be a very, very dicey lap. In wet conditions, they're all diving across to the outside to get water onto these tyres. Bit of a dry line developing. I think it's a legitimate question. Do you roll the dice and put slick tyres on at the stop? So I think you're right. You go as long as you can and just see what the track's going to do and what the weather's going to do, because it might be a case of putting slicks on. It's going to be a big, big gamble, because at the moment, especially around the hay shed, it's going to be a big gamble, because if you put one wheel off the dry line around the hay shed at the moment, you're going to end up in the fence.
Everyone has to have a gamble to try and get the number 13 back.
Yeah, well, good luck catching them because they're a lap ahead of the field.
That's what I mean. You're going to go 0 to 0 or vice versa, whatever way. You've got to throw everything at it. Take sensible decisions out of the bag and have radical decisions.
Brilliant drive by Daniel Gaughan. Hasn't he enhanced his credentials? I spoke to Sam Shannons about him last night. It was a last-minute deal to get Dan in that car, and they hadn't had much to do with each other. Done a little bit of driver training, but aside from that, didn't really have a long-standing co-driving relationship like some of these pros and AMs did. And he said, mate, what a drive. Dan Gaughan was superb. Gave him the car in 13th place, and he stormed his way up the order to P4. Just missed out on the podium.
Just another one of these super talented journeyman type races that get chucked the keys from time to time to go for a burn and acquit themselves every single time with their hands and feet. So very well.
So who peels off? Does anyone stop yet? None of these cars. It's Jeff Emery in car number 888. No, it's not associated with Roland Dane's supercar team, but it's a good racing number, and they had a horrific day yesterday.
I think McConnell's gone to the lane.
It was a pit lane penalty for car 888 for having crew members over the line, the working line, as Emery goes down the inside and gets a pass done. Working members over the line, and it was a 3-minute penalty, Greg Murphy-esque. Couldn't find any porta potties for them to go and run into. But it was pretty controversial stuff, but the rule was there. Pretty forthright rule. So Dean Grant first of the leaders to pit in car 8, and first of the cars on the lead lap to pit as well.
Dean Fiore's now pushing very, very hard after his pretty scary off up at turn 12. Round through 4 that time, pushing hard, and continues to do so in the Marcini Hallmark entry. That's the number 4, Tim Slade at the wheel. So it's a couple of guys that have been wheel to wheel with each other before, back in the supercars when they were both in it together. Early days for Tim Slade and his supercar career.
This is going to be very, very interesting now, because Lee Holdsworth will jump behind the wheel of car number 8. So they're putting their pro in as early as they can. So Lee Holdsworth now down the lane, jumps in. So of the 3 cars on the lead lap, he's going to be the pro driver. Well, Devarshan Padiachi's a pro, so he'll jump in that car behind Rob Woods. But I wonder if now he'll actually get some F1 style undercut here with Lee Holdsworth out earlier. He'll get some pace and blaze around. So 3rd at the moment, but he was only 7 seconds behind the leader when he stopped. Leader in the lane, Daniel Gaughan peels car 13 off to take their stop, and he'll hand over to Sam Shannons, and Rob Woods does the same. So the race is in the balance now. Position will change a little bit further back. It'll be
still only 15 laps completed. It's been a very, very eventful 15 lapper.
I'm going to throw the phrase time set out in this one.
Yeah.
So there's the driver change for the race leaders in the lane. Lee Holdsworth has assumed the lead through that, so stopping early's worked for them. They've got the track position, so it really was an undercut. By putting their pro in a lap earlier, he got up to speed quicker, and he has now jumped to the race lead. Rosie in pit lane. What's up, Rosie?
I'm with Daniel Gaughan. Daniel, fantastic drive in tricky conditions.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we just were lucky we made the right call at the start of the race. It started to rain, and we came in on the warm-up lap and went to wets. So it's up to Sam now. He's been driving fantastic all weekend, so looking forward to seeing how he comes home. He's just got to keep the car on the island, and I think we should be in the show somewhere.
Well, good luck. We'll be cheering you on. Tony, over to you.
Tim Slade just stepped out of the Grove car. Tim, a lovely stint for you.
Yeah, it was tricky at the start there. Out on a wet track was slick, so yeah, it was really hard work. It was 0 grip, so I was fairly pleased when we come in and put the wets on. But then had no pace in the wet really. I think we had way too much pressure in them because they went off super quick, and just handed it over to Steve. And I'm not sure how the safety car panned out for us. I think if you start with the pro in the car, if you get a safety car, normally it doesn't work in your favour, but I'm not sure where we were at after the pit stops and whatever else. So we'll see how Steve ends up for the rest of the race.
Thanks, Bex. Nicely done by yourself and Rosie. This is really busy. David Wall's caught a private little war between Graham Williams and Simon Ellingham, the 9th and 10th. These guys don't need this. They need clear racetrack to carve their way through the field. Heimgartner forces his way through his teammate. So Andre's the fastest guy on the racetrack. He's now 5th. Holdsworth in front by 25 seconds. He's doing all he can. There's 11 laps to go. But Padiachi's going to get mowed down by these guys, and it's going to happen very, very soon.
Simon Ellingham clearly on wets as well. They're looking for as much standing water as they possibly can. The oldest trick in the book. The biggest giveaway that you are on wets when it's a drying track. Oh, wall.
Yeah, wide at turn 2.
Misses that. Heimgartner making his way through.
So that's it's a free kick there for Andre. He's up to 4th place. Aaron Ireland, his teammate, his first ever Carrera Cup Australia round this weekend. Race GT3 Cup at Sandown to get some miles. Tested here now. Heimgartner's wide, and Wall retakes the position. They're just extending the levels of grip a little bit here, these two, and the more they do this, they're going to cost themselves plenty of time as they try and catch the 3 cars in front.
Davison holding down P2 in the Triple 8 car now.
Lee Holdsworth driving brilliantly out in front. He's super, super consistent on wet tyres that must be absolutely stuffed right now.
Well, we've seen Sam Shaheen fall off the edge with the performance of the wet tyre in these dry conditions. It's bound to happen to Lee Holdsworth. It's like a ticking time bomb as to when that happens. This guy's still battling, and they're still dragging Jackson Evans in onto the back of them as well. So this will be a 3-way battle, and it'll be a 3-way for the pros. And Alex Davison now very, very strong at this point in the race. And that gap was out over to 26 seconds between Lee Holdsworth and Alex Davison. Now 20 seconds. Laps remaining saying 9. Elapsed time in the 60-minute race is 53 minutes and 40 seconds.
Got him down the inside at turn 1. Heimgartner slices through. And that should be all she wrote with the pace that this guy's got.
Should be.
Their pace last time was better. They were still miles quicker than the leaders. They're only 45 seconds from the lead. He'll put his head down and drive forward now. Just thinking big picture for a little moment. At the moment, David Wall and Shane Smollen will get the most points for the weekend. 1 lap after 13:29, time certain race finish. What's the time now? 13:28. So they're going to run out of lap time. Holdsworth's going to win this with Dean Grant.
Certainly fallen their way, hasn't it? We're about 1 minute from getting the last lap board.
Oh, it's a shame because these two were going to fly up behind the leaders. But what a performance. While all this has been going on, by the way, Alex Davison has got to 2nd place. So he's got in front of Devarshan Padiachi, which is a really good performance. So Dean Grant, 37 Porsche Carrera Cup Australia rounds to his credit. Best overall of 6th. His best race finish is 5th. So this is going to be his first victory, and of course Holdsworth as well. It's only 13 seconds. Davison is absolutely flying up behind them, but it is now Holdsworth is on his final lap.
Impressive run, Jeff Emery and Davison coming out of the last row of the grid. Jeff Emery pushed hard in that early stanza of the race, which was largely all dry running.
Tony?
Dean, this is an exciting last half a lap. Do you think he can hold on?
Look, I'm so nervous. We're still on wets and we're losing 10 seconds. Or Alex is gaining 10 seconds a lap, but it's my heart rate's about 120, I think. So I think we can. I think we'll make it.
You've got a good bloke in the car, though.
He's a fantastic guy, and he's teaching me heaps too. It's really good.
All right, mate. We'll stick with you. We'll get you after the race. We'll let you watch it.
That's the car in 3rd place. Alex Davison was 2 seconds faster than Holdsworth in the first sector. The gap's 11 seconds. I don't think he's going to get there. There is the Porsche Centre car. The gap's 8 seconds. 39.3 for Davison. He's going to run out of time. What a performance. Dean Grant and Lee Holdsworth will win for the first time together and for the first time in Porsche Carrera Cup Australia. An unbelievable Porsche Pro-AM. He is a happy boy. It's his first win in the championship. Shebex?
Dean, fantastic stuff. He held on. Your first Carrera Cup win, mate. How good's that?
I've been doing this since 2003, first year, but wow, that was amazing. We had it down to the wire, 1 lap to go, I think. Stayed out on wets. Started in pit lane last on wets, but it was the right call, and the car was just mega. The guys did a great job. Porsche and Melbourne just wrapped. So, and Lee, just want to thank everyone did it. I'm sort of speechless.
Great result. 2-time champion of the Tag Heuer Carrera Challenge. He won it in 2004 and 2005. There's the final results. So Andre Heimgartner got to 3rd just on the final lap of the race. And 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th place were covered by 2 seconds. as they cross the line.
We had a fantastic race. You know, I think Dino's call to go to wets early on in the race was the right call for sure, and he started carving them up and carving through the field, and then got us up into third for the stop. I knew, you know, the gap behind was closing in, but I started trying to work out how many seconds what lap time do I need to do to get to the end in front. I knew it was going to be very close at the end, but we got there, and that's fantastic. Dean did a great job, and I thank him and the team for having me for the weekend. I had a lot of fun.
That's a wrap from the island, but as always, stay up to date with everything over at thenationals.com.au. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. On behalf of the entire team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you at Winton for round 3.